Lucy Ambache.
The sound of the South.
The South. And all the music you love. BBC Radio Solent.
And it's time for my big guest this afternoon, which brings me into the live lounge here at BBC Radio Solent, which is always great and exciting. My big guest today is a singer, songwriter, pianist. He's bringing his award-winning show, the Billy Joel Songbook, to the South, his show starts at the Mayflower Theatre in Southampton. And it's great because originally my big guest is from Eastleigh and he's back in the area, and he's told me that he's going to pop off and see his mum a little bit later as well and catch up with his family. Elio Pace, hello.
Hello, Lucy.
Hello.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Welcome.
Do you know, this is absolutely amazing, because the last time I was here with a piano, was for lovely Sally Taylor. And that was about, I think it was 14 years ago. Must have been 14 years ago.
Okay.
So it was really lovely coming back. Oh, here we are with the piano again. And I did a live session for her 14 years. That's the last time I was here.
And I love the fact you get so excited when you come to BBC Radio Solent, because you grew up with this station. Around your house.
It was on all the time. And this is the third live session I've done. The first live session I did for BBC Radio Solent was in 1988.
Wow.
I was 20 years old,
okay,
and I had just been on Opportunity Knocks with Bob Moncas. It was a talent show. It was the Britain's Got Talent of its day.
Yeah.
And I won my heat, and all around this area, you know, all the newspapers and all the people and friends at school and college and everything, you know, they were just amazing. So, and I watched my television debut on the 14th of May, 1988, in Eastleigh, in the same house where my mum is right now, my mum and dad.
Wow. Okay.
Where there's a nice plate of pasta waiting for me when I finish this.
Is that what Elio wants? Whenever he comes back, he wants that plate of pasta. His mum's cooking it especially for you.
That's it. My sisters go, oh, the golden child has come back. That's what they're like.
I love it. And she's listening now as well.
Yeah,
so
they're listening. Hello, Mum and Dad.
This is great. Yeah, this is great.
Sandra.
And it's nice. You know, how often do you come back to Eastleigh, to Southampton?
Well, not as often as I'd like.
Yes.
You know,
do you get told off for not coming back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, when are you going to come see us?
Good.
You don't. You know, but. I mean, the truth is that I work, I tour a lot, and I'm not far away from Eastleigh and the area I grew up. I lived in London for years and years and years. So basically, I was born in Woking in Surrey. When I was 3 years old, Mum and Dad, who are Italian, emigrated in the early 60s. They moved down when I was 3, down to the south coast, to Holbury. We had a house in Holbury. I was brought up around Holbury and Fawley. I lived in Bishopstoke. And then we crossed over the railway line at into Eastleigh, and that's really where I went to school. I went to Toynbee School in Chandler's Ford. I went to Barton Peveril in Eastleigh. So this is just home. Even driving here today, you know, going past, I bought my first piano just around the corner in a shop that was called Bees Music. It's literally a 5-minute walk from here. Mum and Dad bought that first piano for me, a digital piano like this, a Technics PX7. And so this place it's my childhood here, Lucy.
I feel like you've reverted back into a boy, Elio, which is fine. Which is fine. The boy from Eastleigh, who is back. You're starting off your tour at the Mayflower Theatre in Southampton, which is great. And it is, I mean, you're all about the music of Billy Joel. How did the boy from Eastleigh connect with Billy Joel? What was that connection for you?
It happened in Eastleigh, here. I was at sixth form college. I was at Barton Peveril. I tell the story in the show, right? So I'm going to go into too much detail. But
we want the story. We want the story.
All right,
Come
okay.
on.
Well, I'll tell you the story. My first girlfriend is a girl called Katie Stevens, who's now one of the best actresses in the country, Shakespearean actress and film actress and stuff. So she's from Eastleigh, and she was my first love. She dumped me, right? So I was 16, right, in Eastleigh. Lawn Road, she dumped me, and at the park.
Cruelly.
Yeah. You know what it's like. But also at the same time, I got my first gig, my first proper paying job at the Potter's Bar. At Potter's Heron in Chandler's Ford, which is still there, I believe. I would play there Fridays and Saturdays, and I needed new songs for this. I needed many, many new songs. I was doing 4 hours a night, and I knew loads, but I needed more. I remember Katie had a Billy Joel song that I really loved called My Life. on a cassette. Because when I was going out with her, I remember going around to the house and it was on and stuff. So I thought this would be a great excuse to go and see if I could get Katie back. And I did. I splashed on my Brute 33. And I went round there, knocked on the door to ask for the cassette. She was not happy to see me. She gave me the wrong cassette. At the door, wait there, she said. I went in, 10 seconds later, wrong cassette. I didn't notice this until I'm halfway home, and she'd given me the Innocent Man album, which doesn't have my life on it. Now, this is around about 1985, 86, and I was riding on my bike back down to where my mum lives now, and I took this tape home and I noticed that My Life wasn't there. I put the tape on, I thought, I'm going to listen to this because I know nothing about this guy except the song My Life. I'd missed... Really, I hadn't paid attention to the success of Uptown Girl and Tell Her About It and The Longest Time. All those songs are on this album. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I listened to it, listened to all those songs. Innocent Man. Was loving it, loving it, loving it. And then track number 4 came on, and it's a song called This Night. Blew me away. Okay. And that was the moment that I became a Billy Joel fan. I was 16 or 17 years old. I went to Barton Peveril the next day. And I said to everybody, all my friends at club, do you have any Billy Joel records? Have you got any Billy Joel records? Have you got, is your dad? Oh yeah, my dad's got some. So I would ride round there, borrow the album, make a cassette of it, because I couldn't afford to go and buy 12 albums. He hadn't made 12 at that point. So that's how I fell in love with it. It was all here, 5.5 miles down the road. Okay. And so to come finally, all these years later, to the Mayflower. When I was a kid, it was called the Gaumont. And I saw Shakin' Stevens there in 1982. I was 14 years old. I saw Dexy's Midnight Runners there in 1986. I'll tell you a funny story about Dexy's Midnight Runners. We at Barton Peveril were doing an auction, and I had an audition with Dexy's Midnight Runners. That's another long story. I was 12 years old. My mum got me a day off school to go to Birmingham because I answered an advert in Melody Maker for rock and roll piano players needed for a very famous band. I was 12 or 13. I picked up the phone to ring this number and they said, how old are you? And I said, 13. They said, and I said, who's the band? And they said, Dexys Midnight Runners. I went, wow, come on, Eileen. They were like a massive band. And I told my mum and she went, well, if you want to do music as a living, then, we're going to encourage it. So she asked the school if I could have a day off. She took me I met the band. I did an audition for the band. Kevin Rowland was there. I didn't get the gig, obviously. I'm 13. But he came to the Southampton Gaumont and we were doing an auction at Barton Peveril, and I said, do you know what? I'm going to go to the gig and I'm going to hang around at the stage door and wait for Kevin to come out and see if he remembers me. I'm now like 4 years older or something, 5 years older. And he did. He came out, I shook his hand, I said, my name's Elio Pace, I came to audition for you in Birmingham. And he said, you're the kid. He said, yeah. And I said, oh yeah, thank you for remembering, And I said, look, we're doing an auction. And I wondered if you had anything you'd like to donate for the auction for charity at Barton Peveril. And he put his bag down. Remember, there's about 25 people at the stage door. Put his bag down, pulled out a shirt, signed it for me there and then. It was a nicely folded up little corduroy grey shirt, clean, I'm assuming. And he signed it, gave it to me, and I bought it at the auction. And I still have it. That's what the Mayflower Gaumont means to me. Yeah. To come here, to do my own show and to open our 10th anniversary tour at the Mayflower in Southampton is a dream come true.
Wow. What are you going to perform for us?
Well, I spoke about my life. So I'm just going to sip of water.
It'd be rude not to.
It's got to be a bit of my life, isn't it?
To be real close. Said he couldn't go on the American way. Closed the shop, sold the house, bought a ticket to the West Coast. Now he gives them a stand-up routine in LA. Ooh, sing along if you like, Lucy. I don't want you to tell me it's time to come home. I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone. I never said you had to offer me a second chance. Never said you... Backing vocals in the band. I never said I was a victim of circumstance. I still belong. Don't you get me wrong. No, you can speak your mind, but not on my time. I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. And leave me alone. Keep it to yourself, it's my life. Oh yeah. Woo. Keep it to yourself, it's my life.
Ooh, yes. Love it. Oh, brilliant. This is my big guest this afternoon. It is lovely to have Elio Pace, who is bringing his show. It's the Billy Joel Songbook to, well, he's starting off his tour at the Mayflower in Southampton. And we've had Emma who's got in touch. She says, really lovely to hear Elio on the show. Myself and my family are fans. We've seen Elio a few times live. Can highly recommend his show. Very much looking forward to seeing him live.
Well, thank you, Emma.
That is Emma Lumley. How nice to hear
thank
from,
you very much,
from
Emma
her.
Lumley. Yes.
Yeah, so do you have a big fan? I mean, you know, being originally from Eastleigh then,
well,
you must have your fan base must have started across the south, right?
Totally. I used to do gigs in old people's homes with a little Dixieland jazz band. Used to do solo gigs on my own. I played down Lee Road on the High Street in a barber's once. You know, I mean, I've done it all started basically here. You know. I got, you know, I decided I wanted to be a musician, a professional musician at Toynbee. It was all really because, I mean, I always played the piano since I was 4 years old. Mum and Dad bought me a piano when I was a kid. And there it was. And then the music teacher at Toynbee School, the wonderful Mary Granger, who lives in Fair Oak now, she drove me home one night after one of the school concerts and drove me back to the house. This must have been 11 o'clock at night on a Friday or something. And she came into the house, Mum and Dad, oh, please come in. Came in. And she said, your son needs to be a professional musician. And it was so, I mean, to have the backing of a professional teacher who got where I was going. And she would allow me to expand my musical influences through classical music. She would let me have a drum kit all through the summer holidays. I could take home bassoons and trumpets and whatever, you know, glockenspiels. Music was everywhere in our house. And Mary Granger, the music teacher there, she was, you know, I thank her so much for being there at the right time in my life. From then, I literally, you know, I left and I went to London and did the stuff and started gigging and formed a band and started playing and created shows, was in shows, musically directed. The big break really came via Sir Terry Wogan when he asked me if I could be his musical director and his featured artist on BBC Radio 2's Weekend Wogan 14 years ago. I did 36 live shows at the Radio Theatre with my 10-piece band being the house band. And we would have everybody from Brian May to Glenn Campbell to Debbie Reynolds come on and my job was to write arrangements for these people and then perform 3 songs in my own right, which Terry insisted to the BBC that I should do. That, as you can imagine, you know, opened up the biggest doors. And I, you know, went on from there, created the Billy Joel Songbook 10 years ago, and here we are.
Yeah, wow, to have the backing of Terry Wogan.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. He was one of a few people. Ronnie Corbett was another. Ronnie Corbett was an incredible support to me after I did Opportunity Knocks. Yeah. He called our house in Eastleigh. I was on the telly on Saturday evening, 14th of May. On the 16th of May, 1988, the phone rings, my mum answers, and it's Ronnie Corbett. He'd got my number from the BBC. That wouldn't happen today, would it?
No.
Right. Yeah. He got my number from the BBC. Yeah. He called my house and asked me if I would like to go to Edinburgh in 2 weeks' time to open his tour for him. They already had a show, but he obviously seen me on the television and said, let's get that kid. I was 20 years old. Ronnie, Terry Wogan, Mary Granger. I could go on. There's been so many.
So how many years have you been at this? And also, how do you still have the passion that you originally had?
Goodness me.
And how do you maintain that passion? I mean,
it's so easy. I do a job that I love. I call it a job. I wake up every single day and I've worked hard to create the world in which I want to be in, right? Over the 30 odd years that I've been doing this. But I wake up every morning into a world that I've created that I love.
Yeah.
Even responding to emails, even working out, tech specs for tours and stuff. It's a job that I love. So
and you're a nice guy. Does that make a difference?
Well, that's your opinion.
I'm sure
right. Some people wouldn't agree with you.
Not everyone's.
Elio. No. Listen. I just love. I love it. I love playing. I've always loved making music. I've loved creating music. I've loved doing this Billy Joel Songbook thing.
Yeah, and because you're doing your music and you're talking as well. You're sharing stories, which is really nice.
That's
you're good at that.
It's. I'm not a tribute act. I have nothing against guys that want to dress up like Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
I've got great mates who do that. But no, I go out, tell the story of Billy Joel. I play over 30 songs, not at the piano on my own, with the most incredible world-class band, I have to tell you. My bass player has literally just returned from Japan playing with Queen and Adam Lambert.
Awesome.
So we're talking top caliber musicians.
Yeah.
The show's beautiful. The light show's beautiful. The sound sounds great from what I can see on those videos that get posted on social media. So
it's a great show.
It's a beautiful. Every single hit you can think of is in it.
Right, we've got another song.
Yeah.
Then we've got another live song from you, which is.
Well, I'm gonna. When you think of Billy Joel, you think of his other name, which is the Piano Man.
Of course, the Piano Man. I'm with you. Yeah, nice.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. Oh, la la la, da di da, la da da di da, da da. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight, for we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar, they put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? And I just say, la la la, da di da, la da da di da, da da. Sing along, everybody, come on. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight, for we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright.
fantastic. This is my big guest this afternoon. Loving this. Elio Pace is my big guest here on BBC Radio Solent, bringing his songbook of, the Billy Joel Songbook tour to the South very soon, starting off at the Mayflower Theatre in Southampton. You're from Eastleigh.
Yeah. It's Monday the 18th. It's not this Monday coming. It's the Monday after.
Okay.
And,
cool.
We are so excited.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, it's great to have you back in the South. And I mean, you play the music of Billy Joel. He's of course returned 17 years later, making new music. He returned at the Grammys, performing at that as well. Yeah. Do you do Billy Joel's new music, or is it all about the classic hits?
Well, I'm not going to get into it big time, but this new song. See, my show is called the Billy Joel Songbook. Billy didn't write this new song. He didn't write it.
Okay.
So there are so many other incredible Billy Joel songs that he did write that we haven't got time to do in the show. So the answer is I'm not doing the song in this brand new, the brand new song in the tour.
Okay.
But there apparently is coming an album of unfinished Billy Joel songs that have been finished by someone else. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what these unfinished Billy Joel songs are going to sound like. So you never know.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned your teacher.
Mary Granger,
who's in Fair Oak. I mean, have you got the likes of your teacher, of your friends coming to see you? Is it going to be a real reunion gig for you?
It really is. It's like
that must mean so much to you.
I'm going to have to really be careful not to get swept away emotionally.
Yeah, which is beautiful, isn't it? If you're surrounded by the people who've been there with you from right
from the start,
from your early days of primary school and secondary school and everything. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
I love live music, and to have live music on.
I wish they could have seen you dancing around in here.
Yeah, well, you did say sing along, and I did think,
No, but you were bopping along.
I was bopping along. It's amazing. Good luck. So the show Monday the 18th of March.
Yes.
It starts at the Mayflower Theatre in Southampton. Fantastic to have you in, Elio Pace. I've got to let you go because you're going back to your mum's, who's made you your
beautiful plate of pasta.
What's on that pasta? What is the?
It's the classic Neapolitan pasta.
Of course it is.
It's red sauce but with clever little special ingredients.
Of course it is. Elio, my big guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you.
BBC